Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those weekly trophy list updates. Today's date is Monday, March the 18th of 2024. So this will cover the week of March the 11th through the 17th of 2024. This was a reasonably productive week overall, no major complaints about it. In fact, I'm quite happy with the overall level of progress made this past week. So, during this past week, first off, there is nothing yet for Fallout 76's next DLC, but that's still, again, like another week or two away. But I also wanted to point out, I believe the Spider-Man 2 thing got patched within like 24 to 48 hours of it becoming a thing, so you can't use that method anymore as far as I'm aware, unless people found another workaround. But the actual bulk of trophy progress was a couple of big platinums and the start of another really big game. So, let's start out with Dead Rising 2 on the PS4. We finally got that platinum trophy done, so we can go ahead and take a look at the entire list for the game. So your big trophies up top are to kill 72,000 zombies in a single playthrough, with the other 3 trophies coming along the way. 72,000 is quite a bit, but it's really not that difficult if you know what you're doing. Basically, what you want to do is, you have 2 different methods you can use. You can use the 72-hour or the 93-hour method to do it, and I would highly recommend the latter of the two. So, the 72-hour method requires you to basically, from the start of the game until the time when the military arrives, to drive in circles with the SUV around the strip. And as long as you're doing that, you have to average about 1,000 kills per in-game hour. I believe you still have to go and give Katie her Zombrex as well. So I believe you do have to go detour just a handful of times to do that. But you skip all of the story missions and side missions and everything, so you don't bother with any of that. You just drive in those circles for 72 in-game hours, which is about 6 real-life hours, and hope that you get enough kills. That method is faster, but it's going to be a lot riskier. There's a much higher risk of failure with that one. With the 93-hour method, it's the much safer option because it's going to open up an extra 19 hours at the end of the game. So once the military arrives, you then get a whole nother 19 hours, and you don't have to do any more case files at that point. So it gives you way more time, and I didn't need to go very far into that. I only needed to go maybe 2 to 3 hours into that. So I think I actually probably could have done the 72-hour method, but I wasn't going to take the risky option. I wanted to do the safest option that I knew for 100% for a fact would get me the trophy. I didn't want to take any risk with the other one. So it wasn't difficult, it was just very boring and grindy, and of course the fact that the game is so unstable. I will talk about that a little bit more later on. But anyway, you have to defeat 10 psychopaths. I don't know if you have to do that in a single playthrough, but I did both of those in my first playthrough in the same night, actually, because like the snipers count as 4, so that's super easy. Then you have to kill 1,000 zombies barehanded. That has to be done in a single playthrough. Same with this 1,000 zombies while riding a motorcycle, but I would suggest combining that one with a later trophy, or while going for the 72,000 zombie kills is another good place to do it. The barehanded kills you can easily do just by hiding in the craps table, the giant craps table in Royal Flush Plaza, and hitting the zombies through it. You can knock this one out pretty quickly. You have to use every type of weapon in the game, so every firearm, every melee weapon, every other ranged weapon, every explosive, and every novelty weapon on a zombie at some point in the game. There are several hundred weapons in the game. These trophies aren't particularly hard, but there are a lot of items, and some of them are missable. For example, there is a missable, actually 2 missable guns, the blast frequency gun and the 6-shooter revolver are both missable. And then other things like some of the melee weapons are technically missable. I don't think any of the explosives are. One of the novelty weapons, it's like a painting, I think, is also missable. So there are several missable items that you have to be careful about. You have to escort 8 survivors at once. I'm not sure what the best way to do this is. I got it naturally on one of my earlier days of playing, so I didn't end up having any problems with it, but I'm sure that there's a good way specifically to do it to make sure that you're like guaranteed to get it, because you can only have 8 people on the map at once. That includes both survivors and psychopaths, so that can be a bit of a limit. You have to save 50 survivors. There's like 65 total in the game, so you have a lot of leeway on that. I'm not sure if that one has to be done in a single playthrough or not, but I did do it all in my first playthrough. You have to create all the combo weapons in the game. There are 50 of them, but you can do this over the course of multiple playthroughs, which is great. You have to reach level 50, which again can be done over the course of multiple playthroughs. If you do every single thing available to you, every single mission, you'll probably get to like level 45-ish by the time you finish your first playthrough. And then on your second playthrough, you will easily be able to rack up the remaining kills or the remaining levels that you need. You have to change into every piece of clothing in the game. That one carries over between playthroughs. There's quite a few of those options out there. A couple of them are technically missable, mainly the one in the Tape It or Die mission, because there's one piece of clothing down in their room that you have to go into, and there's only one chance to get it. Then you have to complete the facts, which is the main story of the game. Well, not quite the only story of the game, but it is the main story of the game. That's the one that ends with the big boss fight on the rooftop with a certain character. You have to create and consume all mixed drinks in the game. There's only about 9 of these, and it can be done over the course of multiple playthroughs, but it's actually quite easy. Eat every type of food. There's over 50 different types of food in the game. There's nothing missable here, so nothing much to worry about. The 1,000 special zombies have to be killed in a single playthrough. I recommend combining that with the motorcycle trophy and just riding around the strip with a chain cycle or slice sickle, whatever it's called, for a couple of in-game hours once the military has arrived and failed, and you should be able to knock that one out with no major issues. You have to give Katie every gift in the game in a single playthrough. There's about 10 of them, and a couple of them are missable. The funny painting and Snowflake, one of the survivors, is technically missable, so be a little bit careful about that. Then you have to complete overtime, which requires you to give a certain character Zombirex toward the end of the game before you do the final battle. And then you have to go do overtime mode, which adds another 12 hours to the game and could potentially be used for the zombie genocide trophies if for some reason you still needed more time. Then you have 2 co-op trophies. Reviving another player is super simple. Just wait till they go down and feed them a piece of food and then they'll get back up. But the solving all case files in co-op mode, those of you guys that follow me know that this trophy gave me a lot of trouble just because I did not have luck with getting co-op partners. First partner I got, he was already on case 6, but he still promised to help me with my part of it. So I went in and helped him with the last part of the game, so the last dose of Zombirex for Katie, and then case 6 and 7 in the final battle. And you don't have to do overtime, by the way. That one actually doesn't matter for this trophy, which is a really good thing. But yeah, we did that, and then he went in and helped me with Act 1 or Case 1. And then he disappeared and ghosted me and never heard from him again. So just gotta love when those kind of special people get online. Then the second guy I was supposed to work with, it didn't end up working out because different time zones and everything. Then another guy I was gonna work with joined into the group or whatever, but he wasn't in the right time zone and he was causing some problems, so I had to ban him. And then I finally got a different partner that I did end up completing the game with, but it took me over a week to get in contact with him to change his settings so that I could even send him a friend request and invites. But thankfully, once I had him in the game, we were able to knock this out in 2 days. It's simple enough, it's just quite boring. There's a lot of waiting around doing nothing. Then you have to spend 6 million total. You just have to grind to 6 million, which requires you to get the gambling magazines and then go keep playing the giant slot machine, and Slot Ranch is the best way to do it. And then you spend the money on things like the SUV and the car and the night armor and stuff. Enter all the stores in the game, just walk into them and walk out. That's pretty simple. Just a few of the kiosks do count, so be careful with that. 10 zombies with masks, just go to any store that has an infinite supply of masks and fill up your inventory with them. Pretty simple. Spray painting all the Zombirex posters. There's between 30 and 40 of these, and this does have to be done in a single playthrough, but it's still pretty easy. Then you have your 3 actual online multiplayer trophies. You have to play and win all 9 of the Terroriz reality events. None of these trophies are particularly hard because you can actually boost all of them, but the problem is the servers aren't the best, and it does require 4 players to be able to boost these trophies. Not to mention you have to all get into a lobby together, which can be a little bit frustrating, but we knocked out all 3 of these trophies in a single night within a 3-hour time period, so it wasn't anything too bad. Basically just have everyone keep track of which events they've won, and then once someone has their trophy, they just stay in the game and let someone else win every time. It's as simple as that. It's a simple enough set of trophies. Just, it is online. It requires boosting with 4 total people. There can be lack of cooperation sometimes, but luckily my group was fine for that. For this one, you have to first unlock the motorcycle by doing the Meet the Contestants mission, and then you just paint it. You have to collect all the combo cards throughout the game. Again, there are 50 total of them. Some are from survivors, some are from psychopaths, and some are just found around the world or from leveling up. This one, you just have to fill every entry by encountering every single human character in the game, as well as Snowflake the tiger, so it's easy enough. It doesn't have to be done in a single playthrough, thankfully. Same with the combo cards. 100 zombies killed with the smash skill move does have to be done in a single playthrough, but that's actually very easy. That doesn't take very long at all. You can work on that while going for the 1,000 barehanded kills. This one is very simple. Just go to the Baron von Brathis restaurant in the Yucatan, and there's 4 items you can get there, like a barrel, a large painting, a small painting, and like a bucket or something to go on his head. Then you have to tame Snowflake, which is a very early survivor and psychopath fight. You have to throw 3 steaks at her to make her eat them. It's very finicky. It may take a few tries because it's so finicky, but it's nothing too terribly difficult. And then finally, you have to discover the secret combo card, which I believe is a nectar combined with a queen. So that's all you have to do is just build that once you can do it, but you do have to progress far enough through the story to unlock queens being around the world. So yeah, overall, not the hardest platinum trophy out there. It's a medium difficulty platinum. I'd still put it right around a 5 out of 10, and it's pretty time consuming. It took me right under 50 hours to get the platinum trophy on, and of course there are those 5 total online trophies. This game does have, I would argue, kind of the most multiplayer to it. Off the Record does have some co-op stuff, but everything in that game only requires 2 people, and I don't think you have to finish the entire story in co-op. I think it's just the challenges, so it's a lot simpler. So just keep that in mind if you ever want to play this game. I will say, though, another issue with this game is how badly unstable it is. The game crashes consistently, like every 1.5 to 2 hours the game will crash. I found a way to prevent this is to save your game and then quit out of the game entirely, close the application, and then go back in like every hour, and then you should be fine. But that is, of course, kind of an annoying thing to have to do. It wastes time, and it gets you out of your flow and everything. And of course, that can work in Dead Rising 2 Off the Record just fine, but with Dead Rising 1, that's not going to work for a certain trophy, which is why I'm very skeptical about doing that game, because if it's as unstable as this one, there is no way I'm trying that 14-hour trophy. Anyway, the next game I finished was Resistance Retribution. This is the new Resistance game that was a PSP game that you can stream on PS5 or PS4. It has 2 different versions, so which one did I do first? The PS4 version, yep. So the Platinum isn't overly hard, but it wasn't very fun. I really did not enjoy this one, just between some of the hit detection and controls, super bullet spongy enemies, and just repetitive nature of the game. It was not a very fun experience to me personally. Some people might like it better. I loved Burning Skies, the one on the Vita. I actually really liked that game, but this one just, no, I probably wouldn't recommend this one unless you're like trying to do all the Resistance games or all of the PlayStation Classics games or something. But the Platinum Trophy, it's not quite as easy as I thought it would be, but it's very straightforward. Most of the trophies in the game, so something like 23 of the trophies in the game, everything through this trophy right here, are simply unlocked by beating the main story of the game. So 23 story missions, beat all of them, and you will get every one of these trophies. Some of the missions are extremely long. A few of the later ones are shorter, but some of them are insanely long, which is... It gets very boring, very repetitive, and to me, it just wasn't a very fun experience. And I did play on the normal difficulty. I definitely would have had an easier time if I had been playing on easy, and I will do that if I ever choose to do the PS5 version of the game. But I do want to be careful because there are rumors that they might be trying to like bring in an infected mode or harder difficulty or something. So I'm going to hold off on the PS5 version for a very long time just to make sure that nothing else gets added into this game, because I don't want to take a risk of having to play through this game more times than, well, I thought I had to, because again, it wasn't enjoyable to me. But like, yeah, some of these missions are just ridiculously long. About the only fun ones, to me at least, were these mech rides. There's like 2 missions that are mech rides. Those were pretty fun. The final battle was actually a lot easier than some of the earlier levels, which was kind of surprising. But I will say, here's another problem with this game. This particular trophy is bugged, and that is especially the case on the PS5 version. It's less of a problem on the PS4 version, and thankfully it popped first try. But apparently this trophy is bugged for a lot of people and won't unlock for some reason, and at the time this is being recorded, no fix has been issued yet. So yeah, that's just wonderful. Glitch trophies are the absolute worst kind of trophies in existence. So again, I would recommend not even starting this game until they get all of that crap fixed with it. That was about the 4th time now I've gotten a friend request from someone, a close friend request, despite the fact that my profile clearly says no close friend requests, and I keep deleting them. I don't know why they keep trying to add me back. But anyway, all 4 of these trophies are easy. Using the auger 100 times, this is a really good weapon that can basically shoot through surfaces. So that makes it very useful for some of the later levels, and especially when you're really outnumbered and everything and are like running out of health and such. So that's very easy. Just shoot it 100 times and you'll get this trophy. You don't have to get 100 kills or anything like that. Just shoot it 100 total times. Die for the first time, that's about as self-explanatory as it gets. That's going to come naturally unless you're automatically resetting every time you get to low health and using the whole rewind feature that this game has, which is what makes it much more tolerable. Killing 50 enemies, unmissable. You're going to get this in the first or second mission of the story, no problem. And then finally, you have to use 10 different weapons to get kills with. Or actually, no, you don't even have to get kills, you just have to use them. The weapons in the game are, there's that starting, like, British bullet-firing assault rifle, so just like a normal old assault rifle. There is a submachine gun. There is a later upgraded version of the submachine gun. There's the auger and the upgraded auger. Then there's the chain gun, the shotgun, the sniper rifle, the rocket launcher, and then there's frag grenades and the knife. One of those may not count, and I might have forgotten one weapon, but I think that's all of them. So just make sure that every time you get a new weapon, make sure you at least fire it a couple of times, and you should be good to go. The only 2 that are missable are the standard submachine gun and standard auger, just because you get those upgraded versions very late in the game. So just make sure that you've used each of those weapons long time before you get near the end of the game, and you'll be good to go. So yeah, as long as this last trophy doesn't glitch out on you, if you play through the game on easy, it's probably going to be a 3 out of 10 in difficulty. For me, it was like a 4 out of 10, mostly because I was just getting frustrated and bored with it. So it's probably like a 3 out of 10, though, if you're playing on easy, especially if you know what you're doing. And it took me about 10 hours to do, which was longer than I expected. So yeah, Resistance Retribution is done, and I don't know when or if I will do the PS5 version. And finally, the big game finally released, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. So, this game is getting crapped on by a lot of the reviewers, and I do understand where that's coming from. Most of it has to do with the actual online multiplayer apparently not being functional for most people, like, at all. So that's where most of the hate is coming from, but I never played the original version's online multiplayer on PS2, and so far I have only been wanting to play like Instant Action, Galactic Conquest, and the campaigns. So for me personally, it's been an absolute just joy to play through. It's been an absolute 10 out of 10 and fun for me so far, even with a few very frustrating moments where my AI partners don't do what they're supposed to do, but hey, you know, that's how a lot of games work. The Platinum Trophy for this game is very easy, just very, very grindy. So you have to reach General Rank, which requires you to get, I believe, 300 total medals, so I'm about 2/3 of the way through that. And then with the medals, you have to reach the maximum rank for each medal, and I will scroll down to those somewhere here. Yeah, the Legendary medals. So you have to get to the Legendary level with each medal, which requires you to get, I want to say it's 64 of the medal to do. So Frenzy requires you to get 12 kills with the Assault Rifle in a single life. Regulator requires 8 kills with the Shotgun in a single life. Demolition is 4 critical hits with a rocket launcher in a single life. Marksman is 6 headshots with a sniper rifle in a single life. Gunslinger is, I want to say, 6 pistol kills in a single life. Technician is hack into a vehicle, an enemy vehicle. And then Guardian, War Hero, and Endurance are all related to scoring certain amounts of points in a single life, with War Hero being the most difficult at either 32 or 36 points in a single life. Overall, none of this stuff is particularly hard except for Demolition, but people have been telling me ways that you can potentially do it and farm it fairly easily. So I'll be trying that next time I play the game, so I'm not too worried about that. Just that is by far the worst of these trophies, and it takes a very long time to do all of these, because, I mean, 64 medals with each of the 9 different types of medals, so that's 550 plus total medals in this game that you have to get. That is a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of grinding, a lot of farming. Even now, I think you can activate cheats that were in the original game, so things like invincibility and infinite ammo, which would make everything many times easier, but I really do not want to use that. I want to do this completely the legitimate way because I love the game so much. Also, almost every trophy is related to Battlefront 2, hardly anything's from Battlefront 1. But then down here, we do have 2 Battlefront 1 trophies, and I'm not sure exactly how to do these. I just need to look up a video of this because I wasn't big into the original Battlefront. I didn't play it until much later, so I don't really have much experience with it. I don't believe these trophies are going to be too difficult, and I believe you can do them in whatever that game's version of like instant action or split screen is. I just need to look up a video on exactly how to do it. More leveling up stuff, or medals, whatever you want to call it. Then you just have to complete the 3 different campaigns. There's 1 in Battlefront 2 and 2 in the original Battlefront. I think I did complete the Clone Wars one in Star Wars Battlefront 1 on the PS2. I don't think I ever completed the Galactic Civil War, so I don't know anything about those, but Battlefront 2's campaign was actually a lot easier than I remembered it being. It was also a lot shorter than I remembered it being. It was probably like 3 to 4 hours total of gameplay, but you can actually skip all of the space battles, which saves a ton of time. I did do a couple of the space battles, but you can skip those to save a bunch of time, so that's pretty interesting that they let you do that. And then just some more medal-related trophies, and yeah, then we're basically done with all of that. So there's nothing overly difficult with this Platinum. I would say it's probably like a 3 out of 10 in difficulty overall. It's just a massive grind, and of course, people are not happy that the online does not work right, because that was going to be the big selling point of it. 64-player online lobbies with all sorts of, even some new content, new maps and heroes and stuff. So I can understand why people aren't liking the game, but for me so far, I have absolutely loved every second of it. So let's go ahead and sync up our trophies. Alright, so with that, level 859, 71%, 27,825 total trophies, 793 platinums, 5,239 golds, 7,449 silvers, 14,344 bronzes. So, plans for the upcoming week. So, this next week, the main game for me is going to be Star Wars Battlefront. That's really about the only one that I really care about this week, along with continuing to work on the trophy guide that me and another guy are writing for Fallout 76. That DLC will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So whenever that comes out, of course, I'll probably do a guide for that and be playing it and getting whatever trophies it gets, as long as it gets trophies, which again, I'm pretty sure it will, but you never really know. But I also need to really start working towards getting some more easy, well, not necessarily easy, but just a few more platinums done before I get to 800. I need to get, 6 more platinums. And the initial plans I had for that was potentially to do a Dead Rising game, but it took so long to do Dead Rising 2 that I don't really want to do another one right now, after that one kind of annoyed me a lot. And then after that, there's, Off the Record, but I don't really want to do that one right now. We'll do it at some future point, though. For other milestone ideas, there was another game I wanted to do, but it was supposed to come out in the first, quarter of 2024, and it doesn't even have a release date yet. So that one's probably going to be out of the question unless it just, shadow drops in the next week or so. Meaning that most likely platinum number 800 for me is going to be the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection for PS5. That is most likely going to be it. And I mean, it's going to take me a while to get through the rest of it. I don't know if I want to stream the rest of it or not. Let me know in the comments if you guys do want me to stream the rest of it or not, because I don't think I'm going to make a video out of it, most likely, like a long video out of it, just because it's quite repetitive. But if you guys want me to do that, I will do it. Just, let me know down in the comments. The next big video is the Destroy All Humans 2 Platinum Trophy video, which is coming along quite well. I'm making a lot of good progress on it, so that one will hopefully be out by the end of this coming week. But yeah, that's going to be it for this update. So if you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, consider leaving a like, subscribing, and ringing the bell if you haven't done so already. And let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are for Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, not just as the game as a whole, but also for what I might want to do for trophies for it, if you want to see it get streamed all the way through, if you want to see a full-length, longer Platinum Trophy video for it or not. Just, let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see. And yeah, that's going to be the main game I work on this week, along with Fallout 76, and that's really about all I have to say. Stream schedule should be pretty normal this upcoming week. We'll see how many, if everyone wants me to keep playing Battlefront, then I will continue to stream that several days this coming week. So otherwise, we would find something else to play. It's simple as that. So thank you guys for watching. See y'all later this week for some more content.